You're listening to the New York Said Podcast.
Fear not, my friends. This will be my greatest performance.
Give it to me.
Here we go. We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
What's up, good people? Welcome to the New York Said Podcast. I am your host, Amon Focus. And today's episode is about business. This summer, I received an email to partner with New York Now to attend their wholesale event where thousands of emerging brands come together and show their collections and products and gifts and art to prestigious buyers from all over the world. They offered me the opportunity to interview many of these brands. And when I said yes, they said, "Who would you like to talk to?" And I drew a blank. So I went to their website and I started looking around and I just saw hundreds of names of companies and people. And I was like, I don't know. I said, how about this? How about I just walk up and down the aisles doing vibe checks, and whoever and whatever piques my interest, and if they're cool, not in the sense of they're cool because I think they're cool, but in the sense of they're open to have a conversation about whatever it is, then I'll have a conversation and I'll record it. They say cool. I would say in the period of a day, I did about 9 interviews. So in this episode, we have conversations with bag designers, candle makers, stationery creators, toy designers, and so much more. I don't just want to abruptly go from interview to interview, so when you hear this sound, that means this interview is closing and the next one is beginning. And one last thing, if any of these stories stand out to you, I implore you to visit NewYorkSaid.com and read the feature article dedicated to them on the website and click their links and check out their stuff. All right, I'm out. Enjoy. Peace. Can you give me your name and where we are? You can tell us where we are in the city, in the conference, and the name of the company.
Absolutely. My name is Sharon Rochelle. I work for the J.K. Adams Company. We are located in southern Vermont, a very small town in the southwest corner of Vermont. We are at the Javits Center in New York at the New York Now show.
Can you tell me a little bit about J.K. Adams Company?
Sure. We're an 80-year-old company, second generation, family owned. We have about 50 employees. I've been with the company for 26 years. We're known for our longevity. I'm still one of the young kids there. So we have lots of people who've worked for us for 40 and 50 years. We are totally made in the United States. We work with North American hardwoods, all sustainably grown and harvested. Maple, cherry, walnut, ash. We expect people to chop on and eat off from everything that we manufacture, so everything is food safe.
So you've been in the game for quite a bit. Can you talk about how things have evolved from when you first started to even now with the conferences and how products and information is exchanged?
Yeah, so when I first started with the company, we were known more as a serviceable type of product. So cutting, carving, barbecuing, and as the whole category has evolved, we do a lot more in entertaining now. We find that people love to entertain at home, so lots of serving pieces have been added to the line to help with, large charcuterie boards or large grazing boards. As far as how we get our information across to folks, we have a direct-to-consumer site that is jkadams.com. We exhibit at trade shows. We have about 3,000 small specialty accounts that we email and still send out hard catalogs to on a yearly or twice a year we would send out information to. But, I'd say that trade shows and emails are basically how we get our information across. We actually have sales reps across the country, so we still work with sales reps who, like some of the folks in our booth right now, go out and cover a territory and call on small specialty stores, hardware stores, grocery stores across America.
And then I just have 2 questions. One, 80 years is nothing to sneeze at. Just from your educated experience, what do you think that success is? Because there's a lot of new people with smaller companies and things are evolving, but it seems like the traditions of staying true to what success means is alive and well in J.K. Adams.
I think that what J.K. Adams saw was we were a company that started out making drafting tools. So we made slide rules, drafting tables, and with something called the calculator.
I remember that. Yeah. I still have my abacus.
Calculators kind of took away the need for drafting and slide rules. So the owner of the company, his name was Malcolm Cooper Sr., he had been using small pieces of board that we considered fall off, he would make them into cutting boards, and he would sell them on our shipping dock. He'd have a little shoebox out there, and people would drive by, choose a cutting board from the pallet, and put their money in the shoebox. So back in the early 70s, late 60s, early 70s, he knew the times were changing, and that he had to find a new area where he could sell his wares to keep his factory going. And we came to our first gift show in New Jersey, and that's how we started into the gift and housewares industry.
Fantastic. And then my last question is, again, things are changing,
Yes.
and I find that a lot of younger people are staying at jobs 1 year, 2 years, then, lily padding. You've stayed and been loyal to the company. One, why is that? And two, what has been the greatest lesson or one of the greatest lessons you've learned in your career?
One of the greatest lessons I think I've learned is I really love my job. I love the family atmosphere that we've been able to create. The people that I work with, Jessie and I have worked together for 15 years. She was a kid when she came to work for us.
Cultivated relationships.
Absolutely. We create a very family type atmosphere. One of the greatest things I learned, back in the day when my kids would get off the school bus and they would call me when they got in the house so I would know they were home safe. The owner of our company was in my office, and I said, "Excuse me, I have to take this phone call." And when I said, "Okay, honey, thank you for letting me know. I'll be home soon," and hung up the phone, he said, "Who was that?" And I said, "That was my daughter." And he said, "Why did you get off the phone so quickly?" I said, "Well, you're standing in my office. I felt I had to get through quickly." And he said, "No. Your children come first." So he said, "You always take phone calls. You always go to whatever your children need you for." That to me, I had 3 young children at that point, and that to me was, I thought, this is the owner of the company, and he understands family, and he understands that family comes first. And that has, made me stay very loyal to the company.
Well, thank you very much. This has been a pleasure. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
It really has been a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So, Jeff, can you tell us where we are and who you are?
Well, we're in New York now, and I'm presenting the line of home goods and accessories. I also do bags. I used to work for Coach and Michael Kors before, and then after working in corporate for 6 years, I decided to start my own line.
Hold up. Who is Jeff? What inspired you to even get into fashion and that kind of thing?
I'm actually from Mauritius, which is an island near Madagascar, and then I came here for college. I went to Pratt. I did industrial design. While I was at Pratt, I interned for DKNY, Diesel, Michael Kors, Kenneth Cole. And then that started the career in fashion. And then my first job was actually at Coach. I did small leather goods for them. I designed the Rexy, the Dino puzzle that kind of blew out for them. And then I was like, you know what? Why not start my own line? And I started manufacturing in New York.
And when you say you started your own line, what were you interested in making? What was your first product?
My first product actually was the lunchbox, which is won 3 awards, 1 in Italy, 1 in New York, and 2 in New York actually. So that was inspired by the Chinese takeout box. It reminded me of New York, so then I started from there, and then from bags I moved into home goods.
Okay, I love that. That's what literally I was walking by and I was like, that's interesting. And then I saw you and I was like, please be Jeff Wan and not a representative. Am I looking at is it a purse? Is it a bag? What do you call it? Is it a lunch bag?
Well, I call it the lunchbox because it's based out of the Chinese takeout box. But it is a bag. It's a purse, so you can it fits an iPhone. It's lined in suede, so it could be a night or day bag.
I like how it's stately, and it is New York. I'm from Queens. I'm from Southside Jamaica, Queens, and there are things that are just very New York, and this bag is one of them. It's gorgeous. What leathers? What materials are these?
This is cow leather, and it's embossed crocked. Yeah.
What is your inspiration for Jeff Wan? What is your vision for Jeff Wan?
I'm usually inspired by the lifestyle in New York, something that's simple but at the same time iconic. The Empire State Building, or just really driving inspiration from New York. Right now we're mainly direct to consumer. Prior to COVID, I was selling at Saks, Macy's, and QVC. After COVID, things changed a bit, so now it's just getting back out there.
So you talk about the New York lifestyle. What is the New York lifestyle for you?
I do like going to Central Park and then go to Sheep's Meadow, lay out there, or getting brunch with friends, go to drag shows. That's something very New York, I feel.
What's the best drag show in the city?
Oh, I don't know if you know about Jasmine Rice, but she does opera and at her shows. I like to going to Pieces there on Thursdays.
Yeah, there was one called the something bathtub gin.
Bathtub gin that's on I think it's on 9th Avenue and like 18th Street. Yeah.
That's more burlesque.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to someone starting a small business or pursuing their dream? And two, what has been the most important lesson you've learned so far in this experience?
I would say like definitely like start in corporate. A lot of people like who are fresh out of college, like they really want to start their own brand. But like I feel like corporate was so good for me because you learn a lot of processes, you learn a lot of contacts there, and it's just like you're basically like learning the process like that will help you in the future, you know, because like entrepreneurship is definitely not for everybody. Do not quit your job until you're making like more money than you make in corporate, because, you know, like there's a lot of stuff that like people don't think about, like health insurance and like just like a stable job and like paid time off. So yeah, because like a lot of people say like, yeah, you quit the 9 to 5 to end up working 24/7, you know.
That's a fact.
Yeah, that's it.
I haven't had a job since 2009, and I literally work 24/7.
Yeah. So yeah, like freelance life, it's very different. Yeah.
And it's not for everybody. And the thing that people don't realize is that may be your life, but not everybody in your life will understand that life, and they may not be around to go through the struggles as you go through them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And so what was that lesson? Like, what's your biggest lesson?
I would say don't burn any bridges, even if you hate your job at the end of the day. You know, like I left corporate, but I still go back to like freelance when my boss needs me. It's good to pay the bills, you know, and it's keep in touch with like everybody you worked with. Yeah.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time. Sincerely, any last words?
Not really. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Jeff. 2, 3. Who am I with today?
Bridget Zoe.
I saw your booth from way back there, and I just kind of gravitated to the graphic. It says, "This feels nice." Can you talk about the philosophy of that?
Yeah, so I started This Feels Nice 10 years ago as just an inspirational project to help, guide me on my creative journey and, lend a voice of kindness I wish I could have for myself. And over the past 10 years, it's kind of been the friend I always wish I had for myself. And I hand paint everything. It's blue and white. And yeah, I just think kindness is powerful and it's free. This is our first trade show ever. And This Feels Nice started as an art project and kind of blossomed from there. And everything is rooted in kindness, positivity, and friendship. And we hand make everything because we think that if you make it by hand and from your heart, it's going to make a lasting impact.
So when you say hand make everything, what is everything? What are we making?
Yeah, so This Feels Nice originally started as a daily inspirational painting project. So every day for a year, I hand painted an inspirational quote. And through that process, I kind of learned the voices that I wish and the positivity I wish I had for myself. So This Feels Nice has 5 core characters. Tiny Hope, who's the best friend you wish you could be for yourself. Little Beeb, his best friend. And then Grumble, Sunny, and Tulip, who are 2 flowers. And yeah, they basically go on friendship adventures together. And we publish everything on Instagram, and through that I created this astrology themed baby swaddle. And so everything starts with me. I draft it by hand, I paint it by hand.
Were you just naturally artistic, or did you have to go to school, or how did that happen?
Yeah, so I think I have a funny kind of circuitous journey, but I've loved it and wouldn't change anything. I started out as an artist, and after I graduated from college, I kind of pushed that away. I couldn't really see what I could do with that. I think there are a lot of conflicting pressures. Do something that's practical, or you see other people doing that. And so I think I lost a little bit of my creative energy in that. And so I started This Feels Nice because my mom actually said to me, she's like, "You are supposed to be an artist. I was devastated when you left art school, and you have one life to live." And so she said it to me, and I finally heard her. So I quit my job, moved to New York, and started This Feels Nice to kind of keep me on the straight and narrow about not giving up with my art. But yeah, I think I told you earlier that when I moved to New York, I made myself this promise that I was going to say yes, and I wasn't going to give up on my art. And it actually ended up leading me down this really fun journey, not only with what I'm creating here, but how to just infuse creativity in all aspects of my life. So I actually was the Dreamweaver at 11 Madison Park.
You just say that like we all like, oh yeah, the Dreamweaver. Like everybody does that. What is a Dreamweaver? What does a Dreamweaver do at 11 Madison Park of all places? A restaurant that I haven't been to yet, but I aspire to visit one day.
Yeah, I created curated art experiences called Legends for the guests who came to dine. So essentially that means people would come in and they didn't know that I was behind the scenes, and maybe you would share information from me. Maybe you tell me black and white is your favorite, color scheme. And you love Brooklyn and your favorite spot in Brooklyn is Dumbo, and it'd be my job on the fly without you knowing to make you an experience or an object and then seamlessly integrate it into your meal. Yeah, it was
like that. So, I mean, if you're going to pay the big dollars for a meal like that, it should be an experience, and there should be a Dreamweaver somewhere in the mix.
Totally. And I think one of the things that it led me to understand was that like my power is in my creativity. It's not necessarily what you do, but how you do it and what you bring to it. So yeah, it's just been this really awesome journey to kind of explore that, and then also invest in myself and share with the world what This Feels Nice is about. And just at the end of the day, being a nice person. Like I think living with kindness and just being kind to other people led me to have that Dreamweaver job, led me to start This Feels Nice, and just been a great adventure.
Well, your hat says being nice feels nice. Where did that come from, and what is the philosophy behind that?
That is kind of my North Star mantra. If it feels nice, do it, and if it doesn't, don't. And at the end of the day, being nice feels nice. Like if you're just not sure, you're never going to regret sharing that kindness or, just doing something that stands with integrity. And I think it doesn't have to be a big thing. It can be a small thing. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money. It can be free. And
it could just be a smile.
Exactly. Totally. And I think, I don't know, I feel it really deeply in my bones. And maybe that sounds very mystical, but I feel like the world has a lot to offer, and just lean into that kind part of it.
Well, your energy attracted me over here, so I'm grateful, and thank you for being nice and giving me this interview.
Well, thank you so much for your time and for vibing and coming over here. Such a delight.
So where can people find you before we get out of here?
Oh yeah, on Instagram at thisfeelsnice or thisfeelsnice.com, or if you're in Brooklyn, find me, Bridget.
And we out. Malcolm, where are we, and where are you from, and who are you?
Well, we're at New York now. My name is Malcolm Crockett, and I'm the co-owner of Beers and Beyond.
What was that inciting moment when you were like, I got to start my business. I got to create Beers and Beyond?
About 4 years ago, my wife was in, the permanent makeup industry and doing, micro shading and microblading. And, we had a moment where we were just thinking, what is there for men? As far as like this self-care and grooming and that aspect. I always just travel to the store looking for products, and I would just, not satisfied, because when I go get a product, I look at what's, inside of it, what's the...
Looking at the ingredients and all that.
Ingredients, right? So I just...
What was some things where you were like, I'm not buying this?
It was just, a lot of...
Like parabens?
Yeah, parabens, a lot of stuff, had chemical stuff in there. So I was just, I was like, you know what? I'm a smart young man. I'm going to do my research, and I'm going to make my own all-natural product.
So a lot of times people just say the word research, but they never tell you, like, what does that entail? So what did research look like for you?
So research looked like for me, and it took me about a good year. I had to really dive into it. I just looked up the anatomy of hair growth, and really just researched it and looked at a lot of natural stuff that were good for hair growth, good for hair moisturization, hydration, and there was a lot of stuff out there as far as natural, herbs and natural, nuts and stuff like that. But I just picked the certain things that I wanted, and I came up with my own formula, and I made our signature beer gloss product.
So did you get it right out the gate, or was it like iterations and like you had to do several different versions of your formula?
Well, I didn't get it right off the jump. I made it, before we really put it out there on the market. We had friends that we sent it off to, and I had a lot of bearded buddies and, co-workers. So getting the feedback from them and from different variations of it, and the one, that they really liked, we was like, that's a go, let's do this.
I love it. It smells really good. I love the fragrance. How did you come about that?
So the fragrance, like I said, it was trial and error. We had different variations as far as fragrance, especially. And we just wanted to create something that wasn't too loud as far as like, men like to wear cologne. So we didn't want to make something that would clash.
That conflict.
Conflict. So we wanted something that smelled good, because you have a lot of products out there that they don't smell good.
No, yeah, facts. I don't want to smell like the woods. It's a preference, but I just want to smell natural. I don't want to smell like I just finished axing something.
Yeah. And it's funny because you might not even know nothing about a product, but if it smells good, you're going to buy it.
That's what brought me over here. I was like, what is that? That's what that smells good. I'm a candle guy, and I don't buy a lot of candles.
I love candles.
Yeah, but I'll go to like Home Goods, but like my favorite one is the Capri Volcano. You know what I mean? Like,
I got you.
Yeah, but this smells amazing. So like, I don't want to gloss over the fact that you had so much support. Can you talk about how it took a village and how people came where they were like, okay, I'll put that on my face and like trusted your journey?
Support. We have a lot of support, with far as friends and even family, and that plays a big part because at the end of the day, it's only us two. We do everything far as making everything ourselves, marketing. We wear all the caps.
Yeah, meaning like that means you gotta design the boxes, design the bottles, find a distributor, create the graphics. Even this booth, like it needed to be designed and it was well presented to the point that it attracts folks over.
Yeah, so the same way they say, it takes a village to raise a kid, sure, it takes a village to
build a business.
Build a business, yeah.
So my last question is, through this journey, what has been one of the most important lessons that you've learned so far? And I guess part two would be like, what is something that you would give some advice to somebody who's like, I have a dream and I want to make it happen. Where should I start? So I know that's kind of a lot, but.
Well, I think the thing that I really learned from this is, having a business, it's not easy. It takes a lot of hard work, and everything's not going to be perfect. You're going to have your ups, you're going to have your downs, but the key thing is not getting discouraged and keep fighting through the rough patches. Once you break through that wall, everything that you went through before is going to be all well worth it.
Perfect. And where can we find you?
You can find us on Instagram at beers_and_beyond, or you can purchase our products on our website, www.beers-beyond.com. You can find us on Amazon, and you can find us on Etsy.
Fantastic. Malcolm, thank you for your time. I appreciate this.
Thank you so much.
Who am I talking to and where are we?
Hi, this is Heidi Giuseppe. We are in New York now, right in front of my booth.
Talk to me about Salam Forever.
Yeah, Salam Forever is the greeting card company based in Brooklyn, New York, and we are trying to bring East and West culture together.
What does that mean to bring these two together?
I'm here in New York more than 10 years now.
From where?
I'm from Iran originally. When I came, I was missing the things from over there, the designs, and I love West culture. And I tried to bring East and West culture together, and it was very successful last 4 years. I did great online, and this is my first year being here, and it was amazing.
Welcome. Talk to me about that moment when you were like, I need to create a business out of this.
It's a need, like you see it, like you go to different stores, you feel it, it's something missing here, I have to create to be different from another designer and be unique. I think that's the difference between our greeting cards with another greeting cards. We don't try to copy anybody, everything is original, all of the illustration, and it has so much colors and fun things, and we are trying to also do different cities, we have Brooklyn, New York, Vancouver, Toronto, you see that.
I see Washington.
Right, Washington DC.
Your art is very vibrant and it has so much energy and color. And can you talk about your style?
Yeah, sure. So the colors you are seeing, like I said, it's come from East. And, I try to bring more bright color, and I think that's the difference. It's showing it, and I think the quality is really important. And the size of our art prints and greeting cards is different nowadays. You see the greeting cards, it's super small and tiny, and it's just a small lines. But we are trying to create the art and showing the real art. For that reason, our size of greeting cards are a little bit bigger.
Yeah, it's vibrant. You're not even trying. You're actually doing.
Great, thank you. Yeah. Great to hear that.
So can you talk about the energy that you bring to your products and even your booth? Because I said hello to you, you said hello, and then you gave me a free card.
Yeah. So, I think New York now is really fun. I love people being here, and that was a whole the design. Actually, you saw that. I was like, okay, we need something. We didn't see that before. What is that? I was like, okay, we design something for New York now, and I give to people. I say, hey, this is the gift for you. We design it for New York now, and they love it. They was like, oh my God, we've been here for so many years. Nobody didn't do that before.
Yeah, it's a working model. Like a business card is cool, even a tote bag or what have you. But if you sell greeting cards and you give, kind of like back in the days, the first one's free, and then. But it's not just that the first one's free. It's a working example of what is possible. So it's a gesture of let's continue our relationship.
Right. And this is one of my customer actually, she said, I'm going to frame this. My daughter gonna love this. And it's a memory from New York now. I was like, I really appreciate that. It's like people look at the art that way and they want to keep it and frame it,
Because what I love about this, it's a New York Now promotional card, yes, quote unquote, but you put the same exact love and energy and integrity into the art as you would equally your actual pieces that you actually sell.
Right, exactly. I came to New York now last 7 years, just seeing the atmosphere. But so that's the reason this illustration is so real, because you see all of these pieces, people walking, shopping.
You even have Jacob Javits in the card itself. Okay, you got quite a strategy.
Cool. Yeah.
So, two questions. One, what would you tell someone who's starting their small business? They have an idea, they have a dream. What would you tell them that they can use today to kind of like keep going, or they can utilize to make their dream a success?
I think the important is make a goal and create something new. You didn't see that before and you feel it you need that, like what's that you really need. And if you see something missing, go for that. And be unique, be different. And that's the amazing things. Each of us so different, and we have to show what's the difference between us, right? That's the great things about people, the cultures,
That's New York.
Right.
East meets West.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And then my last question is, what has been that overarching lesson for you? Like, what is something that you've learned that, like, man, this has been one of the most important lessons I've learned in creating Salam Forever?
Hustling.
The hustle, that New York hustle.
You should do it. This is my hustling. I have a full-time job. I'm a creative director. I'm working at the advertising agency.
Okay, that makes so much sense, because I was like, this isn't someone who's like, oh, I have something. Like you live this, you breathe this, and then you took what you learned from corporate and put it into your dream.
That's right. And after 5 p.m., when I get off from work, until 2 a.m., 3 a.m., I'm working on this. And, people don't believe it. So how can you do it? But if you make a plan and you do it little by little, nothing comes easy, okay? You have to consistently doing it. And one step at a time, don't rush. Nothing comes to you fast, nothing comes to you easy. Just doing it. And when the people see you, after a while, they recognize you. They know your style. They know that's you. And you're just keep going. Like I have a customer come back to me last 2 years and over in Brooklyn and Manhattan, and they're like, we love your cards because that's your style.
Yeah.
We don't find another place. I really appreciate that.
That goes a long way. So thank you. This has been thank you for the wisdom that you share with us, because that is something that I feel like people can use. That it doesn't happen overnight, and you may have to work your full time and do your dream on the side until one takes over the other.
Yeah, that's it. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it.
Thank you. And where can people find you online?
You can find me online at Salam Forever, and my website salamforever.com. It's easy to find me. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Can you tell us your name and where we are and where your business is based out of, and what your business is?
Yeah, so my name is Deandra Craigman. I'm the founder and owner of Deandra Craigman Studios. We are a fragrance-centered lifestyle brand committed to providing sensory experiences through music and fragrance. We are here at New York Now in the summer market. My business is based out of Long Island City, Queens. And yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Shout out to Queens. Yep. I'm from Southside Jamaica, Queens. I always got to say that every time any boroughs brought up. Linden and Merrick, you know what I'm saying? Went to, no, I'm just joking. No, I really am from there. I'm just not going to give out my resume.
I'm also from there. Yes, Southside Jamaica, Queens. Yeah.
So tell us, like, what was the inception where you were like, I got to start a business? Like, how did all this begin?
Yeah, so it actually happened organically. I did not set out to start a business. I actually started out as an artist. And during the pandemic, I was selling a lot of artwork to people, a lot of like art prints, and I've always had this idea of like kind of curating the space for the people like kind of buying my artwork. So I had this wild idea of like, what if I made a candle for each print? Started making candles, and that kind of took off into its own thing. And then we kind of, again, always committed to immersive experiences. We were like, what if we add a playlist to those candles, right? So now that's what our line is primarily known for, candles that are paired with curated playlists to like give an experience to our customers.
And so what did your art look like?
So it was a lot of like portraiture and figurative work. So I am a Black woman, and my work was for Black women, centered around like our beauty, our lifestyle, our spaces, and stuff like that.
And talk to me about design, because your booth looks beautiful. Like everything is official. It smells great. Like it's pretty clear that an art eye had a part to play in this.
Yeah, so that is actually part of our brand values, our aesthetic. A little bit about my background. I have a background in fine art.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I'm like naturally, I am always able to kind of see things and kind of envision it. So that was something that we wanted to carry over into the brand, but also accessibility, right? So our candles are reasonably priced because we want people to get that luxury feel, but at a price point that's like, affordable for them.
And so when you talk about the experience, like what kind of music are we hearing? I see you got the Spotify. Where's it going?
Yeah. So Dark Rose Patchouli is our best-selling candle, and the playlist for that is like soothing, sultry R&B. So you're going to get different artists like Cleo Sol, Snow Allegra.
Love Cleo Sol.
Yeah, it's like real vibey,
She
right?
got me through some breakups.
Hello. All right, so this candle, we're going to add this candle to the list of things, right?
Yeah.
And then we also have Santal Cardamom. This is my personal favorite. The playlist for that is also R&B, but it's more ballad. So you're going to get Jhené Aiko, Frank Ocean, Giveon, like really airy music to kind of match the scent. Palo Santo and Sage is earthy, right? So you're going to have the neo soul, you're going to have your Jill Scott, Erykah Badu, real, poetry.
Yeah.
And then
You're going to smoke some weed.
yeah.
No, we're not going to just joke off the record. I apologize. I'm going to smoke some weed. Nobody in this company. Okay.
Makes you feel good.
I haven't smoked in like 2 years. I'm just saying, maybe if I burn this candle, I might start again.
There it is. And then our last one is Lux Linen, and the playlist for that is my personal favorite. Is like deep house, like lo-fi vibes. So Kaytranada, Bonobos, like real,
Tall black guy.
Yeah, like real vibey, Yeah.
How do they access the playlist? Like, how does that happen?
So when they buy a candle, inside of our signature box is a playlist card, and you scan it, and it connects directly to Spotify. Also important to note is that each playlist is 4 to 6 hours long, so you really shouldn't burn a candle for more than 4 hours. So it's kind of designed to kind of let you know, like, and we're coming to a close. So like for the full burning experience, you get music.
So when you were choosing the songs, like what was your headspace?
Yeah, honestly, it's as I'm mixing different scents, I'm thinking of the buyer persona. And I think that's something that some people may have to think about, but naturally, as I'm smelling things, I'm like, who is this for? What are they wearing? What are they listening to? So it's just kind of part of my design process that I've decided to let out into like the world.
There's been a lot of people. I mean, I've been walking the floor, so there's quite a few candles, quite a few things. I got some beard stuff on me over there from Beard and Beyond. It smells great.
Yeah.
And they're cool. Mm-hmm. So how are you going about choosing your scents and going through the experience? Because sometimes people have this idea of like, oh, I'm going to make a candle, I'm going to make a fragrance, but they don't know what the process looks like. Yeah. What are some gotchas and things people should keep in mind before they partake in that journey?
That's amazing. A great question. And I think the biggest thing is knowing your why. So like, we didn't set out to make candles. We set out to create an experience, and candles are how we're doing it right now, but that can change. So being true to like what your why is like kind of important.
But how do you find your why?
Honestly,
the same as like, who are you? How do you find out who are you?
I think it's the things that you feel most connected to, like during the process of life, right? So like design has always been something that I've been interested in, like communicating with people, like talking to people. So like kind of piecing all of those things together. And I think life kind of has a way of like just taking you on an interesting journey. Like I was a teacher, a visual art teacher, started a career in art, and like somehow now I'm a founder and CEO. So like, it just got to go with the wave.
So my last question is, through this entire journey of what you've been doing, this business, all of it, what has been one of the most important lessons you've learned so far?
Being committed to having it work out, not how it works out.
Okay, I'm a little slow.
Yeah. I'm gonna explain that. So as someone who's really big on like vision and really interested in like, I want things to look a certain way, I've had to understand to like kind of step back and like, what is the goal that you're trying to get to? And not be so caught up in how are we getting to the goal, right? So things don't always look as polished as I would like them to. Business is not linear, right? So you have waves, you have highs and you have lows, and like the goal doesn't change, but the path in which you take to get to the goal may look a little different, and that's okay.
That's perfect.
Amazing.
So lastly, how do people find you? Give us the website, social, the whole thing.
I've made it very easy. It is Deandra Craigman Studios everywhere. So that is DEANDRA Craigman, CRAIGMAN, and then Studios. And yeah, that's us.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We out.
Peace.
How's your day going?
It's going amazing.
Yes.
It's been a beautiful day here at New York Now.
And how's your experience? Like, Have you been here before?
This is my second time showing, first time at the summer market. And as a new brand, honestly, any new eyes on your brand is all I'm looking for.
What's the difference between last time and this time?
Me actually knowing what to expect.
Okay. Yes.
Me not having to change my booth 5,000 times to get the design right. And so this time it just went so much smoother because I actually knew what we were doing this time.
Say someone's going to be exhibiting. Do you have any like tips where you can say, hey, keep your eye out for this?
In New York, this show is so big. One thing that's different than other markets is that a lot of times you have to use union labor here to help you, which is amazing. But it also means that like you're not able to like get in and like do it yourself. With that, it can start to get expensive, right? Because you're paying someone else to set up your booth. And so if you're a new brand kind of coming into this space, like just maybe detailing out what you want your booth to be, what it's going to look like, mock it out before you get here. So that way they have a really clear understanding of what they're supposed to be designing for you.
Yep.
Versus we at the first time kind of went on vibes. And so we had to,
That doesn't work.
we had to, change that for this go around.
Okay. So let's talk about Be Rooted.
Yeah.
So what is the inception? Like, what was that moment where you were like, I think I'm going to start a company. I think I'm going to live my dream?
Yeah. I mean, I think there was multiple points. One was I spent 10 years in corporate retail, helping brands grow and build their brands in corporate retail environments. I left to go work for an amazing beauty brand, and I grew that brand from 1 million to 15 million in retail. And while doing that, I was like, God, I'm like really helping people live out their dreams, but I'm not ever taking the time to think about what I want to do for myself.
Yes.
And so I've always had this idea of there being some type of lifestyle brand where women of color can feel seen. And in the top of 2020, I was like, you know what? Like, I just need a creative outlet to do something that makes me feel good. And I had no clue all that was going to come in 2020, but I had a goal to launch by June. And we launched in June, and we got
Launch with what though?
We launched with 4 journals.
Okay, there you go.
In June. So I had, as most people, had an amazing idea of all the things that we wanted to have, but my pocketbook could afford only one category.
Yep.
And so we launched with inclusively designed journals in June and got amazing press, amazing reception right away.
And how do you do that? Was it like organic? Or did you like put your feelers out? How did you get amazing coverage?
So the timing was we launched in June. George Floyd happened.
Yes.
And the wave of people wanting to support new, unique, interesting Black-owned brands, we got swept in that.
Okay, gotcha.
And that's just not something that you can plan for. I can't quite say that if, we had launched in different timing, that we would have gotten so much organic traction in the beginning. But from that, because the brand was taking off and we were getting looks by retailers, which we'll talk about later, I had to make a choice of like, am I doing this as a side hustle or is this a real full-blown business?
Yes.
But it was all out of my desire to kind of be more centered in my purpose of my work around Black women and making sure that we feel seen in all spaces.
When you talk about that, like that wave, were you already prepared for that to happen? Or like you had to scramble to say, I need this kind of vendor, I need to get this from here, how did that work out?
No, we were not prepared at all. I mean, I think I maybe purchased like 50 of each journal my first go around. No money really put into it, very little marketing. I'm thinking like this is just like a little passion project, right?
Yep.
So I had to quickly find like vendors that could produce more quickly for us. I had to quickly think about how do I actually build a beautiful site. Like I built my website on my own.
Beautiful.
With a logo that I created on my own.
Beautiful.
I actually launched the products without a logo because I was like, I wanted to focus all my money and attention on getting the product done versus on the sexy marketing pieces of it.
Can we talk about your logo for a second?
Yeah.
Because it's done really well.
That's the third iteration.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, because it's like sometimes when companies start out with they like, well, I'm a candle company, so I need to have a candle-shaped logo. Or like it's right there. Be Rooted. It's clear. Can you talk about like the iterations?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if I can explain to you what the first one looked like, but it was like this like script and this like random pink dot that I put in the background. But I think that the lesson in it is that like you don't have to stay where you start. And so for me is I knew I didn't have the money to hire an amazing graphic designer to kind of like do the full branding and like brand guide for the brand at that point. But I knew that once I was able to hit 6 figures, if the people love the product, I could then go back and reinvest.
There you go.
So the first 2 logos I did on my own. And then the last time I hired an amazing graphic designer to really think through, like, what's the real brand ethos? And so at that point, we were able to put together, like, the logo that you see now in our products.
It's all synergetic.
Yes.
Like, even your booth is an experience. Like, I'm stepping in to be rooted.
Yeah.
From your journals to your calendars to, you have a new bag your mom was telling me about.
Santa sack, yeah.
What's that called?
A Santa
A
sack.
Santa sack. I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
You know, like, I know when I buy fancy shoes, it comes with a nice bag to make sure that I protect the leather. But like, in your Santa sack, it looks like whatever's inside is important.
Yes, absolutely. Because when you gift someone a holiday gift, you want them to feel like, you know, you're gifting them something of value. And so when we were creating Be Rooted, we wanted to make sure that we were creating products that our customers could feel good about. Because Black people deserve nice things too.
We do.
Right? But in an approachable price point. So one thing that I really try to honor is that all of our products are under $40, with most of our products under $20.
Oh, snap.
So how do I stuff as much luxury as I can into a product?
I didn't know how much your products cost, but I thought they were well over 40.
No.
That's okay.
No, because I know our community, right? And I know that, you know, I want us to be able to be a product that no matter what no matter the times, you can still afford our products. I've built the brand on it being an affordable price point with as many luxury details as we could do.
That had to be very, very, very challenging. Because even like your puzzles, the on the outside, like
the soft touch finishing.
The soft touch. Yeah. And I saw like the purple. There's a dog in the background. Somebody has a dog. But anyway, the soft touch with the purple in the puzzle and the gold foil.
Yeah.
Like those are not
They're not cheap. No.
They're not cheap at all. So like it must have been a challenge to be able to say, like, how do you find a perfect vendor to give me the luxury at an affordable, approachable price point?
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's finding someone with the capabilities. It's finding someone that understands my vision and can help me get the detailing that I want. Then it's also negotiating, right?
Okay, gotcha.
And placing big bets. I think oftentimes as brands, we want to work with whoever has the lowest MOQs, which like makes total sense because maybe you don't have the customer base yet. But the benefit of going with some of the bigger vendors is that you get to have more options. You get to kind of design and style it a little bit better, but you're placing bigger bets on, you know, how much you have to order because the quantities are higher. So you may not see 1,000 items in my booth. You might just see a curated, 20 to 30 items that we've really gone deep in from a quantity standpoint because I've invested in the quality of the items versus just having a whole bunch of cheap stuff.
That is apparent. And like I said, I was talking to your mom and we were like, I was like, I'm going to stop touching this product. I don't put fingerprints on things.
No, you're good.
So can we talk about the looks? And then how did you find yourself in these bigger box stores and these well-known brands? I won't reveal it. I'll let you reveal it.
Yeah. From a look standpoint, like I was always from the beginning wanting to make sure that we were cognizant of skin tone, hair types, body types, so that someone can look at our products and see themselves there. And so that was one of the things that was really appealing to retailers when they were looking and exploring new brands to bring into their store. There wasn't anyone doing what we were doing, at least at the level that we were doing it at. And so about 6 months into my brand, I had 3 retailers reach out to me. One was Anthropologie, one was Staples, and one was Target. And I had the opportunity to pitch all 3 of those brands.
You just said the word pitch.
Yes.
And so like, what does that look like? And I know I'm going on a tangent, but I feel like some people need to know, like, what does a pitch look like if you're going to pitch to those brands? And like, how do you prepare for one?
Yeah, so you normally get 15 to 20 minutes to talk to a buyer.
Okay.
And in that, you need to be able to convey your brand story, who you are, why you're uniquely positioned to do what you're doing, what makes your brand different from every other brand that they currently have. And if you were to get into their store, how are you going to sell your products off their shelf? And those are really the 5 things that you are kind of communicating via a deck for them to consider you, while also clearly showing them your products.
Yes.
Sending in samples and stuff like that.
Okay.
But really the upfront communication that's what they're looking for. And so you're on a Zoom call. If it's non-pandemic time, you sometimes are having an actual meeting and you're taking that time to sell yourself, to sell your brand, to sell your story. But what you also should be doing, which I think a lot of people miss, is that you should also be interviewing them. You should be asking them what are their priorities. You should be asking them what level of support they can offer you. You should be asking them questions like what margins are they looking for? What additional fees does it take? Because a lot of people get super excited about getting an opportunity to be in retail, but they don't take the time to fully understand what's the financial outcomes of you being there.
I mean, like sometimes the allure and you're being hypnotized, like anthropology.
Yeah.
This is my big break, and they're like, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
We're gonna break you, not them per se, but like
and not
read the
necessarily
contract.
for malice.
Yeah.
But that's just how business
that's
is done.
Business, yeah.
Right.
That's the music business. You can be like, I'm with Def Jam, and they're like, yeah, you are.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So after having conversations with those 3 brands, they were all amazing, but I just felt like Target understood the best what we were doing. They understood how they could support us, and they also were not new to the journey of selling amazing products to Black women.
Okay.
They had multiple other brands within their store that were serving our community, and so it wasn't like I was the pillar that they were trying to build things off of.
Okay.
And on top of that, I didn't have the money, finances, resources, or capital to support more than one retailer when I first launched, and so it would have been not to my best benefit to say yes to all 3 because we wouldn't have been able to support it. So we ended up launching at Target in March of 2021.
So how did that feel?
Oh my God, it felt amazing. It felt so cool to be the first Black-owned brand to be living in the stationery aisle. It was so cool to see people post and share themselves or their daughters buying and picking up journals and seeing themselves in that aisle. But it was also super scary because it's one thing to get into retail, it's another thing to stay in retail. And I knew that from the moment that our products hit the shelf, it was a time clock on us being able to hit the appropriate metrics to ensure that we weren't just there for a season, that we could be there, that it's a brand that's consistently showing up for Black women. And that was my main point. Like, I don't want to not be on shelf because, oh my God, I failed.
Right.
I want to make sure that we stay on shelf so that Black women can continue to be served and actually have a brand that they can continuously rely on being there for them. And so it's a mixed emotion getting into retail.
Through this journey, and I mean, it's approximately 4 years old.
Yeah.
But it's longer than that because some of a few people I've spoken to today have shared that, like, please don't quit your job. Learn what you need to learn in corporate or go into corporate and then step into your dream. And one woman I was talking to, she said, I still have a full-time job and I'm doing this on the side at night, you know. So can you talk about what has been like one of the most overarching lessons that you've gotten from this part of the journey, like even, in the beginning, but like this section where things have taken off and you are fully immersed in the Be Rooted experience? What has been that lesson?
Success in entrepreneurship to me is more about mindset over know-how and being able to appropriately regulate your emotions, whether things are going really amazing or whether things are falling apart.
Not just generally, but like how have you had to do it?
For me, it's understanding what's my controllables. So did something happen?
Oh, watch that plant. Sorry. They warned us.
They did warn us.
Why would they put these big ass plants in these little ass pots?
I don't know. If you're listening, a plant just fell on me.
I'm not going to keep picking this thing up.
He's tussling, so we're just going to keep it there.
Sorry about that. I didn't want it to hit you.
No, but I appreciate that. But no, it's controlling the controllable. So if it's something that I can fix, if it's something that I can do about it, it's something that I can work to get better at, then those are things that I will actively give emotion to.
Okay.
If it's something that was out of my control, there's nothing more that I can do with it, someone else made a decision, there's nothing else left to say about it, then I can't give emotion to that. Because if I gave emotion to every single problem or excitement that came on a daily, weekly basis running a business, I would go crazy. So I've just learned how to really regulate my emotions about it. And then also for the problems I actually can fix, breaking them down into bite-sized chunks. So I think what a lot of people get like stuck on is they feel like what they're trying to figure out is so big. But I think the way to really winning in like really hard situations is taking a big problem and then breaking it down into like 5 or 6 small things and just start checking them off the box slowly so you feel like you're getting little wins along the way. So that's how I do it. I don't know if other people, I mean, maybe I should have said like a woosah or like I have, I light a candle, but no, it's really just like not giving emotions to things that don't deserve them.
I have a younger sister. Her name is Stephanie, and she asked me. She said, "How do you eat an elephant?" And I said, "I don't know, Steph. How do you eat one bite at a time?"
Yeah.
And so I said, "Oh, okay," because I was stressed out about something. I don't remember what it was, but that was very helpful.
And I guess in my scenario is, how do you eat an elephant? You don't.
How?
Because I wouldn't give emotion to how to eat an elephant because I just wouldn't.
Like, that's above me now. I'm good.
Yeah,
that's above my pay grade.
Yes.
Where can people find you?
We are sold on our website, berootedco.com. If you're at everyone's favorite retailer, Target, please support there. And if you would love to follow us, we are at berootedco on all channels.
And where are you based out of?
Georgia. So we are,
Nice.
I can't say Atlanta because, people from Atlanta, are real sensitive about you calling the suburbs of Atlanta, but we're in Georgia.
I visited Georgia maybe like a year ago. I went to Savannah for the first time.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Which was gorgeous. Like, no shade. I'm a New Yorker. I love Central Park, but I never saw like
so many trees.
And but like all these beautiful parks, like several parks and fountains.
Yeah.
So that was a real cool experience.
Yeah.
Big love. Shout out to Georgia.
Shout out.
Well, that's it. That's all I got.
Thank you.
Thank you. So how's your experience going so far at New York Now?
It's been great. This is my second time here. So what's really cool is like seeing familiar faces, like both other vendors and like customers I've had before. Overall, the people is like what keeps me coming back. It's just so nice to make those connections in person, like actually connecting with a human being instead of just like having them place an order online and like never getting to like meet or interact. It's so nice to know that like you're connecting with the right people.
Right.
Yeah.
And I like your energy. Like you have so much style from your kicks to your hat. First of all, give us your name.
Yeah.
And then the name of your company and like where you're based out of and that kind of thing.
Sure. So my name is Bo Kim. My company's name is Miso Momo. It's named after my pets. Miso was my pet rabbit and Momo was my childhood dog. And I sell primarily pronoun pins. That's like the main thing for sure. And then also like little tokens of queer cheer, anything that just sparks joy in me.
So how did you get started? Like, what was that inciting moment where you're like, you know what? I think I should like really pursue this.
I actually was looking for a really specific pronoun pin design, this leaf one here, where it's just a little leaf split up with the line in the middle and it's just, she, they, whatever your pronouns are. I was like, surely this must exist already. So I went looking, but I couldn't find it anywhere. And I was like, I really want this specific thing. So I looked up how to get one made. I was like, maybe I can just do it. The minimum order quantity was something like 50 units. So I wanted it bad enough. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to do it. And then I just...
You did it.
Yeah. And then it was like, maybe other people will want them too. Like I can give them away to my friends. They sold out. And so I was like, all right.
I'm in business.
Yeah, I wanted something. Okay.
So how did you start? Like, did you get like an Etsy account or did you start with?
Yeah, sure. So I did start out on Etsy. I'm still on Etsy, but I pretty quickly like wanted to get my own presence established. So I have my own website now. I do get most of my, a lot of business from Etsy, but I also do a bunch of like craft fairs, little markets, like things like that. I love like the actual interactions, the meeting people in person, like hearing their stories. I love that connection.
What does the oranges represent? You have orange earrings, you have an orange hat.
Got a lot of oranges going on.
Yeah. Is that your favorite color?
Actually, no. It's just, it's a few different things.
Okay.
One is that my favorite poem ever is called The Orange. It just like resonates really well with me.
Do you know it by heart?
I don't, well, not well enough to.
Okay, because I was going to
I don't want to butcher it. That would be worse, I think.
So tell me, who wrote the poem and the title so that way people can look it up?
Can I look it up? Is that right?
It's your favorite poem
I
that
should
you have
know
to figure
this.
out. Like,
I should know this.
Like my favorite book is The Alchemist by...
It's okay. It's Wendy. Oh my God, what is her last name? Wendy Cope. Wendy Cope. And it's called The Orange.
And what about it moved you?
It's a really, really simple poem about like having a really mundane, simple, but like sweet day that made her appreciate just like the little things in life. And so that's also been like such a goal of mine too with my business. It's just like little tokens of things that like make people appreciate, everything and just like the connection with others, being able to express themselves, like see themselves the way that they want to be seen.
Gotcha.
Like that's such an important thing to me. And it's also I come from Orange County, California, and so it's also like a home thing to me.
So you went from Orange County and now you live in the Bronx?
Yeah.
So that's a contrast.
There was some culture shock. Yeah. I grew up in Orange County, lived my whole life there, and then I actually moved to New York for school, and then stayed forever.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What have been some of the challenges that you've had to endure that you would kind of share with folks to say, like, you should probably think about this or think about that before you dive into this juncture of your life?
Sure. I tried to do it all by myself for such a long time.
Gotcha.
I'm one of those people, like I have such specific, visions in my head, like really specific ideas of how I want to execute. Exactly. Like I have exactly what I want in mind. I'm perfectionistic, like all of those things. And it took some getting used to like let people help and like recognize that it's not like, it can't really be done solo forever. Like if you want to build a scalable thing, like obviously like I can set the boundaries, set like the intentions, but like it's a group effort. It takes more than one person. Like people want to help. There's a community that I'm trying to build, like it's not just about me. It's like what resonates with people. What can we build together?
And so you've had to find yourself delegating things that you would say, I wear 100 hats. And it's like, well, maybe you could wear like 50.
Yeah. And that also will free up my time to do more of the things that I want to be doing. Like being a small business owner, like you're not signing up to do like the marketing, the sales, every single thing. You're initially just trying to create something.
Right.
And so learning how to do all of those different things, it's super valuable. But at the same time, like that's not really what I'm here for,
No. And are you creating new items as we speak?
I am.
Is it ever evolving? What are you working
There's
on now?
always a long queue of things I'm trying to make. I've got a bunch of new fruit pin designs in the works. I want to do these hats in a bunch of different colors,
I love those
like
hats.
a rainbow of fruit colors.
So like a pear.
Exactly.
Maybe a cherry.
Like a little like pink peach one.
Yeah.
I love that like idea of like a row of bright rainbow colorful hats with little leaves on them.
So say something like this hat. How hard was it to find a vendor that would literally give you exactly what you want specifically?
It took a while. Yeah.
Like
many
a year?
iterations. I would say maybe 6 months or so, but it took me like maybe 6 months to design it and then 6 months to find like the right producer, the right manufacturer to work with.
So you designed that hat.
Yeah.
Were you already a designer?
I've always been a creative person. I'm like a knitter. I draw, all of those things.
You exude creativity.
Thank you.
I need to take a picture for the website. But like your outfit, your tattoos, the watch correlate, the watch
all
band,
about
like,
the self-expression.
Yeah, and even your bag. Like, did you make that bag?
No, I wish.
Okay.
I thrifted it.
Okay, that is a nice bag.
Thank
It's
you.
got the checkers.
It's from somebody's wedding.
Really?
Yeah, look. It says like Maritza and Harry and the wedding date. I looked them up. I tried to find them before.
Like, I got your bag. They're like, don't talk to us about the marriage that didn't work out.
Are you still married or not? Can I find out?
I think you should keep looking until they pop up.
I'm so committed. I'm gonna find them.
And then send them like a little care package of like,
yes,
your
bag has served me so well. I love this thing. Also, where did you get it made?
Right. So do you find that it's like very competitive where people share their vendors where they're just like, hey, this is where I got this hat made, or this, like you have this, I guess this travel.
Luggage tag.
A luggage tag. Like, if I was like, hey, Bo, I need to make a luggage tag, would you be like, good luck? Or would you be like, here's who I use?
That's such an interesting idea because it feels like there's so much, people are very cagey about their sources and their manufacturers generally. Like I started out with pins and there's a billion different pin manufacturers. You don't know what to look for at first. It's kind of trial and error. And there's kind of this idea of like, when you're new to something like this, like putting in the time, like earning it through blood and sweat and all of that, like people don't like the idea of like, oh, they just were handed this like amazing resource and now they're able to compete with me. There's this like competition element of it. But what I really, really resonate with is like people who are way more open about sharing those types of resources, like sharing with other artists, other creatives, how they got where they are. like I said before, like connection is so important to me. And so one of the things that I've learned is like, it's a business, but also it doesn't have to be like this cutthroat thing. It doesn't have to be only one of us can make it. Like we can lift each other up.
Yeah.
I can help other people.
Yeah.
And I've learned so much from my fellow artists.
I'm always up like, a win for you is not a loss for me.
Exactly.
So like, I have like, I make a lot of stickers. People are like, who made the stickers? I'm like, let me just send you a
PDF. I'll send you,
I'll send you like
here's
my
who
favorite.
I've tried. Like, here's been my experience. You know, I can't guarantee you're going to have the exact same experience, but here's a starting place.
Yeah.
Like, find what works for you.
I remember one time I used to make, just for fun, I used to make ice pops.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like if you buy them off the High Line, they're like $5, $7 an ice pop.
Yeah.
So I was like, I think I'm going to make them myself.
I can do that.
So I found some, I was making them, and then this guy had like a unique shaped mold.
Okay.
And I was like, hey man, where'd you get your mold?
Yeah.
He was like, that's proprietary information. I was like, really? An ice pop mold? I was like, first of all, you're in a whole other state. And I'm not even in business. I'm just curious.
I'm not trying to compete with you. Let other people have ice pops.
I'm like, come on, man. I just want to eat for myself. I want funny shaped ice pop. And he said that's proprietary. And I was like, wow. Okay. But my last question to you is, what has been the most important lesson you've learned in this experience of building your business?
I would say that focusing on relationships, like I've been saying, like whether it's your relationship with your customers, your coworkers, like your other artists,
or even yourself. Be kind to yourself.
Yes, exactly. Like focusing on relationships is for me what has made it feel like that much more meaningful and that much more like it's like something that I can actually see building on long term. Like it has to be sustainable and it has to be healthy. And to do that, you need to treat people well, including yourself. That goes such a long way. And like it's not about like any individual product that I'm trying to make. It's not like the profit margins from this one thing.
Yeah.
It's what I'm trying to do with it, the stories I'm trying to tell, the people I'm trying to uplift, all of it together.
This thing is just like sliding down. I'm like, want to make sure we get your voice. Yeah. But keep going. I apologize.
No worries. Yeah.
Just the people that you're meeting along the way and those connections.
Exactly. Like I think when I first started out, I had this misconception of like similar to the idea of like people being like kind of gatekeepy with their resources. This idea of like, this is a business. That means that you focus on money and that's it. And like, there's this one goal in mind and that's it. But actually what I found so much more like fulfilling and also good for business is just like focusing on the stuff that actually resonates with me, with other people, and just like that connection. Because that's what has been so gratifying, and that's where I feel like the most growth has been for me.
Absolutely. And I feel like the city is big and the world is big, but it's very small.
Yes.
You never know. You might see somebody again. I might see you downtown while I'm buying a shish kebab or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You just never know who you're going to encounter again.
Exactly.
And then you never know like how deeply you've touched them with some useful information.
Right.
That they just needed this one piece of the puzzle that they couldn't figure it out. And you're just like, oh, just do this. And you're like, and then they take off. So you just never know.
You never know. And it's more about the quality of those relationships, reaching the right people, not just going for everybody everywhere as possible.
Well, this has been great, bro. I love this.
Yeah, this has been so much fun.
The last thing I want to ask you is like, how can everyone find you? Like, what is your socials and websites?
Sure, yeah. So I have a website, misomomo.com.
Yep.
That's where all my products are listed. You can find my contact info. I love when people reach out via email for literally anything. Yep.
I'm gonna say, can you send me a picture of Miso the rabbit?
Oh, there's one on the website. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay,
of course.
Perfect. Well, we'll keep a lookout for you. Thank you for your time, your insight, and your wisdom. I know it's a journey. You know, like
really
sometimes people are like, "Oh, it's a destination. I gotta make the money. I gotta get the acclaim." But like, okay, but don't forget that it's also the journey.
Yeah.
You know, like what you learn along the way, who you meet along the way. All those are part of the experience.
Exactly.
And we're out.
Right.
Peace.
That was fun.
Thank you. So it's going to be a feature on New York Said.
Yeah.
And so when they asked me, they said, in New York now, they reached out. They said, hey, we have this studio space that we want to do interviews.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, okay. They said, who do you want to talk to? So I went on the website and I was like, I don't know how to choose who I want to talk to from.
There's so many
Yeah.
nice brands.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I would like to meet people. And if I start talking to them and they're like, cool, then I'll say, hey, do you want to have a conversation?
I love how you go through the aisles. Like, what do you do, you speaker? I'm vibe checking.
I was vibe checking. Because like, sometimes.
I love it.
Yeah.
And did you rate me on a vibe check scale?
When you began to say like, oh, I'm a parent, I was like, she's checking off the vibes. Okay, I'm gonna ask her. And this is all just for the ask. Like, hey, would you be interested? I don't want to waste anybody's time, nor do I want to talk to somebody who doesn't like to talk. Sometimes people are too cool for conversation, So when I had we were vibing, I was like, this sounds like a great episode. So tell us your name and the name of your company and where we are.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Fu. I'm the founder of Biggest Little. We create thoughtfully designed and sustainable toys.
How'd you come up with the name Biggest Little?
So that's an interesting question. So we have 2 daughters and we gone through a year of minimalistic living. And I talk to my older one a lot. And I just discovered they have such a imaginary brain, and the conversation that I have with them, I'll never imagine I would have with a child.
Yeah.
So I feel like they are the biggest in the name.
Yes.
I think that we should give them more authority to express their thinking. Like, I learned so much from her. So we parents should be the little in this whole parenting journey. Yeah. So I feel like we should give them the authority to think, to tell us what to do. So that's why I'll come up with the name. They are the biggest little. We are the little biggest.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so where are you based out of?
We are based in Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn. Talk to me about the product. Like, what is that you're holding in your hand?
So this is called B is football, like A is for apple, B is football.
B
it's
is football. Okay.
So it grow with a child, and it can be a teeter for 6 months old, and it can be a ball to roll and kick for a baby who start to crawl, and it can be a bath toy. It can literally bring it to the tub, fill it with water, and then you can squirt. And you can be a lot other things like a stacker, and then it plays with the box as well.
Yep.
So it's really multifunctional product. It's safe for the kids to explore the product, explore themselves, explore their little fingers, explore the environment. The philosophy behind it, we think that like nice design need to be functional. Functional means we don't want to tell the kids like how to use a product. Right. The design, it's safe and good enough for them to just like do whatever they wanted to do with the product. And also a good design needs to be good looking products.
Yeah.
Like a lot of baby product, they're plastic and they're not sustainable.
Right. And they come in like these traditional quote unquote pink and blue colors and white. Like, I love how that's teal and orange and it has color theory to it.
Exactly. And then like when parents see this, they will think, oh, I want to put them in the living room.
Yeah.
It's an object that I wouldn't mind having in my home, versus there are so many toys that are making noises or flashing lights. When your best friend come over, you kind of like shuffle it into the kid's room. That's a kid's space.
That toy which you're holding looks, I mean, it's a ball, but it looks like design. It's a very well designed ball.
Yeah.
But it has texture on both sides, and that also has 2 different types of texture.
Yeah, it's like every single color has its own pattern, and it's a sensory element to it. And also we put a lot of thoughts into what we design on the surface. Like this one is a line, and it has like thin lines here, thicker lines here. So this one, it has the G, and then it has like smaller G and a bigger G. So kids is at the age where the sensory is blossoming, and then they're like opening to this world, and they notice every single little difference. And this is something that we put a lot of thoughts into.
So how many balls have you made? Like how many different?
3.
Okay.
So we're a little over a 1-year-old company, but we have been designing this for like the past 3 years. So my 2 little girls, my testers. So when I started the project, my younger one was 2, and then now she's 5.
So can you talk about that process of like, things don't happen overnight, even though it's in the market for a year, it was 5 years in the making or what have you. Can you talk about that?
Yes, we started the project when I took my older one to a playground to play water toy. All we have is water guns, like at that day.
The water toys was just
The
like water
toy-
guns.
It's water guns and water balloons.
Yeah.
And my 3-year-old know that I wouldn't let her play with water balloon because we talk about the sustainability of things, like the waste, like all this
It's just waste.
It's waste.
Yeah,
on
after the balloon
playground.
pops, it's just trash.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look good in the city. So
No.
like she knows I wouldn't let her play with it and she's okay with it. She never really have an interest playing with it. And then she saw water gun and she was like, oh, I don't feel comfortable using it. I was like, okay, let's just sit and talk.
Yeah.
So we're like, let's invent something new. So she took interest. She drew me something, looks like a little French press. And then water comes out with the French press. And I was like, oh,
What?
interesting.
How old was she when she did
She
that?
was 3.
3?
Yes.
Wow.
And then we're like, okay,
So you started from, what's your daughter's name?
Farah.
Farah. You started from Farah's
drawing. And then we start having conversation. How do we improve that? Like, it's maybe too big, too bulky. Do you think people will bring them out? Like, I just keep asking questions.
Of Farah.
Of Farah's drawing. And then we just keep talking. And then, she's 3 and she left the project after 3 days. Like, Mom, this is not interested.
Right, but you kept going.
But I kept going. I was like, maybe we're on to something. And then at that time, we were living in a 1-bedroom Brooklyn apartment during COVID.
Yep.
And before we move in, I had a parental burnout. Like, it's like half a year after I had my second kid, I have toys everywhere in my living room. Like, I step on Legos.
Yeah.
Like, Farah was 2.5 and she moved
And those
toys
are all
everywhere.
very hard plastics. So like you're gonna hurt yourself if you're not playing with it, if you come in contact with it.
Exactly. And then I'm constantly have to ask my little one not to chew on the toys that my older one play with because it's too small.
Right.
It has choking hazard and I have to constantly watch out. And then I was a single child. I'm not used to all the stimulation in the house.
A lot of stimulation.
Lots of stimulation. 2 kids screaming and then all the kids everywhere have to
and
clean
everything
up.
has a screen and makes a noise.
Yeah, it makes a noise.
I grew up on Tonka trucks.
I know, like after the day is over, it's like cleanup, all this cleanup happened. I was like, I don't sign up to be a parent to clean up, like spend that much time to clean things up.
Yeah.
So we kind of donate everything.
Oh, wow.
And then got into the 1-bedrooms with 4 people in Brooklyn and start minimalistic living. So I had so much fun just talking to Farah, playing with the cardboard boxes and stuff like that. And we make like ball runs with toilet paper roll. And I had so much fun. And then I
You said ball runs?
Like
so
ball
that's,
runs,
that's when
like-
you create an obstacle course and have the ball go through it?
It's just like, toilet paper roll. You can cut it in half and then we stick it on the wall.
Uh-huh.
And then we just drop a ball. And then,
Oh.
like we do that for like whole 2 weeks. Like we just keep building on it. I have so much fun.
This is what you do with Farah.
Yes.
I feel like, how old is she now?
She's like 7.
I feel like when she's like 17, she's like, so I'm an architect.
She is. No, she's not an architect, but she was so like, somehow she got into stone. So now she like
She's
so
into
stone.
Stone?
Like geology.
Okay,
like stones,
okay,
like all
yeah,
different kind of stones.
yeah.
But at that time, we're just like playing with boxes,
Yeah.
like, having conversations.
She's like, you want to go to the toy store? Like, no, I want to go to the MoMA store.
Yes,
That's her?
yes, that's her.
I think you have an influence.
She loved trade show.
She loved the trade.
She loved trade show. She loved to talk to everyone. We probably will love all this like jewelry and like stones.
That
and
is
stuff.
so fan. But I feel like the environment that you created for her to play and seriously ask her like, so I want you to draw this, and now like
It's not even me asking her. She just drew it. She was like, oh, that's interesting. Let me draw something.
and she drew that.
She drew that. It's just a complicated thing, but I was
know.
like, that's the start of the whole thing.
I think to your point at the beginning, not to cut you off, and this is an interview about you, but like you said the biggest little. And so like you are giving her a platform to be big.
Yeah, because when you give them a voice, they can be really big.
Yeah.
And that's what I experienced. So when she's come up with this whole thing and then I kept going, I was like, I can't have a baby chew on a cardboard.
Right.
There are needs for baby toys.
Yeah.
But can we just simplify it? Can we use like minimalistic and use that in toys?
Yeah.
And I have such a passion for design. And I was like, let me just do it.
Is that your background?
No, it's not my background.
Because it
I
shows
worked in financial services before. And then I stopped working after.
So you went from financial services to
a full-time
designing
mom.
to a full-time mom, but now you assisted in designing objects.
Yes, because I have passion for design. I always feel like I should have gone into art.
Yeah.
So this is something like I'm passionate about, and it's very fulfilling. And then after I go full force in designing a ball, there's just so much failures. Like this is not the original design. I did the original design, went to a manufacturer. They said, no, you cannot do it. It's a soft object on a soft closing.
Yeah.
When they hear this idea, they was like, no way that you can do it because when you squeeze, this thing will pop off.
Yes.
So it did pop off.
Right.
And I insist, no, I think my design's okay. And then I do a run with them and they were like, and then I received the product. It was absolutely crap. It was so bad. And
what was it made of? Was it made of the same silicone? Is that
same
silicone?
Yes. Food grade silicone. So it's safe silicone, but it's different design. It doesn't
safe silicone.
It's a food grade silicone.
Okay, food grade silicone. That's what your product's made of.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So and then basically that's our first one. Absolutely no use.
Yep.
And then we have to go back to the drawing board.
Did you buy a whole bunch of them?
No, it's just
good.
a model.
Okay,
like,
gotcha.
What's that called? Sample.
Yeah, mock-up.
It's blanking out. I'm blanking out. It's not a production mold, but then you can do a sample molding.
Okay, sample molding.
So sample molding.
Okay.
We did a 3D before, and then they don't have as soft a material in 3D printing. So that's why we did a 3D, and then it was successful. That's why I went with the sample modeling, and it doesn't work because when it goes soft, it just pops.
Gotcha.
And then after that, it's keep reiterating.
Okay.
And when we successfully did the model, because the first thing that we need to make sure is when I squeeze water, this thing won't pop off.
Gotcha.
And I want it to be a ball that a child can use it as a ball. So when you throw it on the ground, it won't pop off.
Okay, gotcha.
So it's already hard enough. So when we come up with the systems that can be successfully closed and won't come out,
yep,
that was just the first step. We took them outside to the park, let kids play with it, let parents comment on it, and then we have to do like multiple reiteration.
Yep.
Because sometimes it's too hard and kids can't close it. They're just like, what is it?
Or like, how does it play when it hits concrete or AstroTurf? Does it does the silicone degrade or anything like that because the ground was too hard and it scratched it? That kind of thing?
That won't happen. Silicone is pretty durable.
Okay, gotcha.
But it's more like how long does it take for them to close the cap? How easy for them to close the cap?
Okay.
Yeah.
So what age did this start out with this object?
So it's tested as a infant toy. It's tested for 0 to 36 months.
Okay.
But then we just advertise for 6 months and above because we just figure like infants won't do anything about it. So we market it at 6 months and up.
So the last question I have for you is, what has been the most important lesson you've learned in this journey of iteration and getting it to market and, having the experience where you're even at New York now at the moment?
I think the biggest lesson is there's a lot of trials and error.
Okay.
When you start anything, it's
okay. A journey.
Enjoy it. Yeah, enjoy it.
It's okay to fail?
It's okay to fail. Like, fail fast.
Yeah.
So that you can test another way to do it. Don't give up. Just fail fast. And this doesn't work. We'll try a different way. And another thing is talk to as many people as you can before you start anything, like anyone. Like, I didn't know about distributor. I don't know about other things besides designing a product when I design a product, but maybe sometimes go outside of even if you're designing a product, go outside of it. Like, how do you do marketing? How do you launch your product? How do you manufacture? How do you do distribution? What if this sells to London? How do you do that? Like, I didn't research all of that. I'm kind of just focused on honing in on how to make the product. But if I would have started again, I think I would just branch out, like know as much information as you can.
Right.
That will help you to piece all the puzzles quickly.
Are you found in other, like, where can we find your product? Like in various stores? Have you made it to like a dream store where you're like, I just want my product in that store, and then you made it into that store kind of thing?
We are in 6 stores right now. I think one of the store that I'm so proud to be in is Brooklyn May store.
Brooklyn Bay?
Yeah, Brooklyn Made store.
Yes, it's Brooklyn Made?
Brooklyn Made.
Okay, gotcha. Yep.
Brooklyn Made. And we wanted to put this in museum store because my passion of design. And yeah, I think we have an order from the museum.
For real? Oh, congratulations. Okay. Wait, you got an order from the museum store?
From one of the museum store. It's called Benton.
Wow, congratulations. Because that's what it looks like. It looks like it should be there. And I wish more museums pick it up because it looks like that's where the home should be from the box to the color to everything. So
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That's my wish list. I hope more museum buyer really like appreciate the
keep
thoughts that
going.
goes into it. And we want to do more. We want to bring like design into early childhood space. And I feel like as long as you expose kids to different things,
Yep.
they will pick it up.
And
Like,
more things. It doesn't always have to have a root in violence or something or waste. You know, as you were saying with the water balloons and the guns, like there's other ways.
Yeah.
Biggest little.
biggest little.
Yeah, let's make it happen. Stephanie, thank you very much. Where can I find you before we get out of here?
So you can find me at Biggest Little BK on Instagram,
Uh-huh.
or you can email me Stephanie with a PH at biggestlittlebk.com.
Perfect. We out of here. Peace. That's
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you for making it this far into New York Said. If you love what you heard, I highly recommend you go to newyorksaid.com. There is hundreds, literally hundreds of interviews that have taken place in the last 10 years of the show. And one last thing, if any of these stories stand out to you, I implore you to visit newyorksaid.com and read the feature article dedicated to them on the website and click their links and check out their stuff. All right, I'm out. Peace.